tell you the names of, but we're doing them with American production companies. But I'm not writing the screenplay. I just come up with the idea for the story, and then we give it away to screenwriters who don't do nearly as good a job as I would do, but I give. So I'm keeping busy. I love coming up with these things, and I love talking about them. And the next time we get together, I did one called The Mighty Seven, which is on the, what network is it?
Was that 97?
Hub Network, HUB. It's mostly for kids. But The Mighty Seven is an animated movie, a full-length movie done in animation, as you figure, about 7 superheroes. And it's doing very well, and they're thinking of making a real movie out of it. So remember the name, The Mighty Seven.
I believe you make a regular appearance in that, don't you?
Oh, as a matter of fact, I bill it as the world's first reality superhero story, because it has real characters, namely me. I'm one of the main characters. If you want to get a laugh, try and find it somewhere. On the Hub Network.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hello. My question is, if you could be any one of the superheroes you created, who would that be and why?
Well, if I had to be one, and I'd really rather be me, because the others don't go to comic book conventions, they don't know what they're missing. But I guess I'd want to be Tony Stark. I mean, the guy is rich, he's handsome, the women can't keep their hands off him. I mean, who wouldn't want it? So he's got a bad heart, big deal. Who wouldn't want to be Tony Stark?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, I just had a question. If you could have any of your comic book villains or characters in a movie now, which would you choose?
If I could have one.
If you have any of the villains who haven't been in a movie yet, who would you choose?
You know, I honestly don't. Oh, I guess the only villains that haven't been used that I can think of are in Doctor Strange.
Yes.
There was Baron Mordo, and then there was the Infinity. I don't even remember them. Oh, and Dormammu! I get scared just saying the name.
Now you know how it's pronounced. I never knew that was the pronunciation.
Dormammu.
Thank
Yeah.
you. You learned
Thanks for
something
being
today.
here. I wouldn't have remembered Dormammu. Wasn't there an adjective that came in front of it?
The
something.
The dread Dormammu.
The Dread Dormammu. I love adjectives.
Thank you. Who's next?
Hey, Mr. Lee. I hate to speak of blasphemy, but is there any DC character that you wish you would have thought of?
Any DC character, what?
That you wish you would have thought of.
Oh, I wish I would have thought of all of them. Well, I guess the best one, because it started the whole thing, is Superman. The only thing wrong with Superman, they made the mistake. Actually, Siegel and Schuster didn't make this mistake. They just said he can run faster than a speeding train, and he can leap over tall buildings. They didn't say he was totally invincible and nothing could hurt him or kill him. But they got themselves into such a bind when you never worried about Superman. Bullets wouldn't hurt him, nothing could hurt him. So they had to invent kryptonite. And unless he's menaced by kryptonite, why are you bothering to read the stories? And I shouldn't be talking this way. Yeah, it's not fair. I mean, so they're not Marvel. Everybody can't be Marvel.
Mr. Stan the Man Lee. My name is Brian, and first of all, I just want to say thank you for creating all these great characters for us to live, to read about, and to look up.
Oh, you're welcome.
My question is what has been your favorite representation of your characters in film? Like, what has been like one that you saw, you're like, wow, that is, you know,
What's been your favorite film representation of your characters?
Oh, I loved them all. I loved Spider-Man, of course. Iron Man couldn't have been better. I thought that Thor was great. Captain America, nobody thought it would be as good as it was. I was a little disappointed in the Fantastic Four because I thought they did what's the villain?
Galactus?
No, not Galactus. Oh, Galactus too. Dr. Doom, my favorite villain, I forgot his name. I thought they did Dr. Doom all wrong, and of course there was no way they could do Galactus, so... The Thing was wonderful though in the and Chris, who played the Human Torch, he was so good that they made him Captain America. How that happened? All of a sudden, the Human Torch was Captain America. No, I loved him, and I'm the only guy who starred in Daredevil, Ben Affleck. I thought Ben Affleck was good. I thought the story itself didn't work. They didn't emphasize. I always thought of Daredevil differently than the director of the movie did. And it didn't quite, Daredevil wasn't the way he should have been. But they'll do another one, and they'll do it right, and you'll see it'll be a great movie. They're planning on how to do. Oh, and you know they're doing Ant-Man. They're going to do the Black Panther, the Guardians of the Galaxy, you know about. And they're thinking of the Inhumans, Doctor Strange. So eventually you won't have to buy a comic book, just buy a DVD or video, whatever you call it today.
Well, don't worry, Affleck is DC's problem now, so.
He said it's DC's problem now. Next, please, thank you.
It feels terrible to be sitting up here. What did he say? What was that? Who's that? Where do I look? What did he say? Sorry, I don't hear you. All right.
Who's next?
It gives him a job. I actually hear you perfectly, but I don't want this man walking the street.
Hi, I'm Dick. I'm an international professional journalist. We flew in from Belgium to be here. And one of the print magazines I write for is all about inspiring people. So, what kind of advice would you give to people who aspire to get a job in a creative kind of business, who want to be creative and actually be able to make a living out of it?
He's come all the way from Belgium to ask you this question, which is, what would
You could have written me a letter.
What would you say to inspire people who want to get into a creative field, but it's difficult to break in? What should they do?
Well, that's one question I don't know the answer to. I have no idea. I got into it by luck. I heard I had a cousin who knew the owner of this publishing company and said there was a job open. I didn't even know they did comics. They also did sport magazines and men's magazines and movie magazines. And I wanted to be a writer, so I knocked on the door. I said, I hear there's a job open. And there was an assistant to Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, who were working as a team doing Captain America. And my job was to fill the inkwells. In those days, they dipped the pen in ink. And run down and buy them their sandwiches for lunch and erase the pages when they needed erasing. And little by little, I got into it, so it was a total accident. But I wouldn't know what to advise somebody. I would think, find out what it is you want to write the most, and find out who publishes or buys those kind of stories, and try to write a story that you think they would like and send it to them. The toughest question in the world is, how do you get into a field like that? I wouldn't know how to answer that if my own daughter asked me. Which she did in the past, and I said, I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, it's a abbreviated panel.
I'm just getting started.
Yes! You want to know?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Let's get an hour and a half for this overtime now.
Take up a collection.
I'm okay. I mean,
He's okay.
Does somebody else want them one?
Okay, until they yank us off.
This is easier than working, I'll tell you that.
Okay, next question, please.
If all the superheroes you created,